All right, good morning. Let's come to order and go on the record. I'm Charlotte Mitchell, Chair of the Utilities Commission. And with me this morning are Commissioners Brown Bland, Commissioner Gray, Commissioner Clodfelter, Commissioner Duffley, Commissioner Hughes, and Commissioner McKissick. In compliance with State Government Ethics Act, I remind members of the commission of their duty to avoid conflicts of interest and inquire at this time as to whether any member has a known conflict of interest with respect to matters coming before us. Record will reflect that no conflicts have been identified, so we'll proceed with public staff, electric item P1.
I'm Scott Saylor with the Public Staff Energy Division. Item P1 consists of applications to amend and renew certificates of public convenience and necessity for solar PV generating facilities. Public staff recommends that the commission approve the applications and issue the requested certificates.
Move approval of the recommendation.
It's been moved and seconded that the item be approved as recommended by the public staff. Any questions or discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate with an eye. Anyone opposed? All right, motion carries. Thanks, Mr. Saylor. All right, next up, we will move to public staff, water item P1. Mr. Franklin.
Morning, Commissioners. I'm Mike Franklin with the Public Staff Water, Sewer, and Telephone Division. This morning, I have Redbird operating, Redbird Utility Operating Company, LLC. Redbird has filed an application for a certificate of public convenience and necessity and for approval of rates to provide wastewater utility service to Ocean Terrace, Pine Knoll Towns 1, 2, and 3 townhome communities in Carteret County. Each of Ocean Terrace and Pine Knoll Towns 1, 2, and 3 has a separate wastewater utility system owned by its homeowners association, providing wastewater utility service to a combined total of 170 residences. Presently, these wastewater systems are exempt from commission regulation. This will be Redbird's first franchise in North Carolina. The public staff recommended Redbird post a $300,000 bond for Ocean Terrace and Pine Knoll Towns 1, 2, and 3 service areas. And on November 19, 2021, Redbird posted the required bond amount and filed the appropriate bond documents. All filing requirements for a bond secured by commercial surety have been met. Further, the public staff recommends that the issue of whether Redbird should be permitted to include in rate base the unreimbursed expenses it incurred to provide temporary wastewater service to Ocean Terrace Homeowners Association be determined in Redbird's initial rate case. The public staff recommends that the commission issue the proposed order accepting and approving the bond, granting the franchise, approving rates, and requiring customer notice. The proposed order includes changes made at the request of commission staff after the staff conference agenda was published to address the parties' filings regarding the unreimbursed Ocean Terrace expenses. The changes have been shared with counsel for Redbird. Mr. Dan Higgins is in the audience with his client, Redbird. This concludes my summary.
All right, thank you, Mr. Franklin. Mr. Franklin, one question for you quickly. I wasn't able to find, for a quick review, the operations agreement in the record in this proceeding. Are you aware of whether it's in the record?
It is not in the record.
Okay, all right, thanks, that's all I need. Do have a question for the company. I see Mr. Higgins in the audience. If you would approach, please, sir. Actually, Mr.
Yes.
Higgins, just for the purpose of being on camera, I'd ask that you, Mr. Franklin, if you might scoot over towards council, and Mr. Higgins, you can grab that seat right there. All right, just for purposes of the record, Mr. Higgins, would you introduce yourself, please?
Dan Higgins with Burns Day and Presnell, appearing on behalf of Redbird Water.
All right, good morning, Mr. Higgins. Just a quick question for you. In reviewing the materials filed in this proceeding, I note that it appears to be the company's position that in making this application with the CPCN that it's not requesting that cost recovery issues be resolved here, but rather any and all cost recovery issues be resolved in a future proceeding. Is that in fact the case?
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right. Any additional questions for Mr. Higgins or the public staff? Commissioner Hughes?
Yeah, and I guess this might be for both, whoever can answer. We've been hearing a lot of concern at public hearings about flat rate sewer. And I noticed that your rate is going to be quite high and set at a flat rate. Do these customers get water from, is it Pine Knoll Shores, or where do they get water from? And is there any possibility in the future of metering their water use and potentially considering something other than flat rates?
Well, for this particular example, they'll be charging the homeowners association. So there's one meter to each homeowners. There's not sub-meters or independent meters to the townhome residences. So for this particular application, the flat rate works the best because of the metering situation. And they do receive, I believe, water from the county, but I'm not 100% sure of that. But again, it's through that 1 meter, and then they're billed by the HOA separately for water and wastewater services.
So for the HOA only has one water meter as well? Is that?
That's right. They have 1 meter, and then it's distributed to the residences from that master meter, but not sub-metered at the residences.
Okay, thank you. I have my question.
Approving of the recommendation.
Okay.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that the item be approved as recommended by the public staff. Any questions, discussion on the motion? Commissioner Duffley?
Mr. Higgins, did you say that you had representatives from Redbird with you today?
I do have representatives from Redbird here.
Since this is the first franchise being granted, did you want to introduce them to the commission?
I certainly will. I was going to introduce them at the conclusion, but I'll be glad to introduce them now. Mr. Todd Thomas, introduce yourself. And
Good morning, I'm Todd Thomas, I'm Senior Vice President. Sources which Silas, regulatory case manager, so I do filings and data request responses to make sure all this is accurate. So thank you so much.
thank you, Commissioner Duffley.
I'm just curious, where is the Redbird and its owner located?
St. Louis.
Thank you.
Commissioner McKissick?
One thing I was curious about, the rates that are charged, that are flex rates, it's like $60 per residence at Ocean Terrace, and $40 a resident at Pine Knolls 2, and then $20 at Pine Knolls Towns 1 and 3. Can you explain why the differences exist as they are in that rate structure? I'm sure it's based upon the systems that's in place and perhaps what improvements may be anticipated need to be done, but can you elaborate a little further about the differential, since
Sure.
it is a rather substantial one?
Right, sure. Commissioner McKissick. So Ocean Terrace, first of all, has 32 residences, and they have the temporary wastewater treatment system currently providing wastewater treatment for their townhome community. Pine Knoll Towns 1 and 3 are septic systems, so their costs are lower. And in this first 14 months of operation, Redbird will be installing the permanent system, so they'll still be relying on their existing systems for some time, at least for approximately a year, 14 months. And Pine Knoll Towns 2 also has its own wastewater treatment system, but they have more residents. They have 46. So that is why there's a difference in the charging for the current application.
Excellent. That provides the type of overview I was looking for. Thank you.
All right, additional questions? All right, just a reminder, we've got a motion that's been seconded that the item be approved as recommended by the public staff. All in favor indicate with an eye. Anyone opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you both very much. All right, commission has before us our minutes from November 29th staff conference for approval. I'll take a motion. All right, questions or discussion on the minutes? All in favor of approving the minutes indicate with an eye. Anyone opposed? All right, minutes are approved. Any additional business before we adjourn this morning? All right, hearing none, we will be adjourned. Thank you very much. Let's go through the record, please.